Good morning, everyone. Okay, as usual, before we start any session, why do you want to learn SQL Power BI? Yeah.
For data analytics.
Okay, data analytics purpose. Okay. Others, let's do one thing. Introduce yourself, your name. If you're working somewhere, where are you working and what kind of role you are into, and why do you want to learn SQL and Power BI? Okay, so who would like to go first? Your name, where you are working, and why do you want to learn? I mean, which kind of role you are into, and why do you want to learn SQL and Power BI?
Hello,
Yes, please go ahead.
good morning, sir. My name is Rahul. I'm working with Factset since 4 years. I want to learn SQL and Power BI to add skills to my resume and also expecting these skills to land me in a new job. Not on Power BI exactly, but this will be an added attribute for my resume. That is what I'm expecting from this course.
Cool, yeah. Thank you. Others?
Hello, sir. Hello, good morning. This is Madhvi, and currently I'm working with HSBC. So I'm into the manager role, and my job role is supply data quality, wherein we analysis the suppliers, supply mergers, and data also. So further to upgrade my skills, I joined this course.
Thanks for that. Others, please. Maybe offline participants.
My name is Mangesh. I work for Philips Hospital as an MIS analyst. So, for my career goal, is SQL and Power BI applications needed. That's why I want to become a business analyst. And also I want to deal with the data in our future experience.
So you work with KIMS as MIS analyst. So you may be doing a lot of things with Excel.
Yes, today I'm working on Excel. Previously, I worked with the tablet software, but not developing on the operating.
Okay.
So that's
Yeah. So I think in your position earlier, our student was only there. Narasimha, you know, in KIMS.
nursing. Which department? So I work in corporate projects.
Is also, I think, same. The minister's road one only, right?
Yes.
You have your corporate office there, right?
Right.
He was with finance teams, MIS analyst only. Okay, so
So my operational and my
okay, you are into operations, all right.
Do you know Salman? Salman was long ago.
If I see him, I can recognize. Okay, he's also there with Kim's only. Okay, cool. Nice.
Recently, we verified for Power BI.
Okay.
Due to this timing, so we couldn't able to come.
Okay. Fine, you please.
And I'm working with Airtel as an MIS analyst. Actually, my most of the work is with SQL only. Just I run the queries and I will take the data from here. So I want to learn total.
Airtel Splendiders.
Yes.
Okay. We also got students, multiple students from FactSet and HSBC as well. Okay, cool. Online participants, there are, I think, a few more. If you could introduce yourself, your name, and why do you want to learn SQL and Power BI? The online participants, the ones who are not done yet.
Yeah, good morning. My name is Abhishek.
Hi.
And yes, so coming to my education background, I have no knowledge in technical backgrounds. So, but with my self-interest, I have taken part in joining Advanced Excel. So, with the knowledge of Excel, I have come to know about the SQL. So, basically, it is useful for the data validations for the particular data. So, which is more advanced than Excel. So I thought even it will be helpful for further journey in my professional background. So this is the reason why I have taken the course of SQL and Power BI.
Okay, fine then. Thank you. Yeah, anyone else? All right, then. So let's proceed. So yeah, as you know that it's a combination of SQL and Power BI, and I'll take you through what is that you are going to learn as part of this program. Okay. Before that, let me introduce myself. Just a second. Think my profile. Okay, here we go. I'm sure it's been 16 plus years I'm into this reporting and analytics with automation and people management. So I've worked with different companies earlier. I was into different roles. I work with right from basics of Excel, advanced Excel, SQL, macros, Power BI, Tableau, ClickSense, ClickView, SAP Business Intelligence, Business Objects, SAP Crystal Reports. I got experience with domains like financial data analytics, RCM, revenue cycle management, US healthcare, right? Different, domains I worked with. I'm MCT, Microsoft Certified Trainer, from 2021 onwards, MCP, Microsoft Certified Professional. I'm Deloitte Faculty Excellence Certified. I'm ISO Certified Internal Auditor, Six Sigma Certified. I have certifications in, Power BI PL300, which is Power BI Data Analyst Associate Certification, Excel Expert Certified, Word Expert Certified, Access Expert Certified, PowerPoint, Outlook Certified, right? I mean, almost all the Microsoft Office and data related certifications I have completed. Though I deal with a lot of technology stuff, don't assume that I'm from a technical background. I mean, my education background is BCom and MBA Finance. Currently, working with Excelytics, I'm leading this team. Earlier, I was with Quadratics. They are into AI and ML projects. I used to support them as a senior consultant in data analytics. Prior to that, I was with Deloitte, I was with United Health Group, and I was with iSpace. I mean, different roles, different domains, and different experiences. Yeah, so these are my badges. You can also earn these badges by writing a certification exam online. I'll also show you the process, like how you can go for a Microsoft PL300 certification. Okay, so I'll cover the PL300 questions also during the training program. If something is really important and if it is there as a question in exam, I'll emphasize that point. Okay, there is a question on this topic in Microsoft exam. So if you are willing to go for the certification, let us know. We'll let you know the process. Okay, but certification is completely a different process. Okay, so you'll have to register online and you need to attend an examination online. Okay, yeah. So that's briefly about me, and coming to this particular course, it is a SQL and Power BI combination, and this runs for about a good 45 days, calendar days, and we run the sessions only from Monday to Friday. Morning around 7:45 we start, okay, till 9:95 around, okay. So coming to the first part, SQL, it's going to be for about 15 days, okay, and then Power BI is for about 30 days, right? So SQL, you would have seen in other places, almost SQL itself, it would take about 2 months time. But how we managed to bring it down to 15 days time, there is a reason. This course is designed for reporting and analytics teams, okay? The other SQL programs that you see in the market usually complete SQL development, programs. They are training programs. As a reporting analyst, we don't develop the databases. Our role is very simple. What is that we do? Whatever the database is there, we understand the database and we fetch the data or we extract the data from the database using different SQL queries. That is only the thing we need to know, okay? But coming to the database development and getting the client's requirement and designing the tables or creating the constraints or the relationships between the tables and all, that is not our job. Okay, that is a job of the database developer. That is a reason that course definitely someone will have to go through a 2 months course. But here in these 15 days, we'll try to understand what is SQL, what is a server, what is a database, what is a table, what is a key and constraint, right? How to create the joins between the tables, what is normalization, what is denormalization, right? What is OLAP, what is OLTP? There are so many points are there, but only limited to the reporting and analytics roles. We don't need to develop, a database. We don't need to create the ER diagrams. And there are so many other things also as part of the database development, but we don't do that as a data analyst. Remember that we are aiming for data analyst role, right? So for that, we have created a custom course, a SQL for reporting and analytics, okay? As I said, which is going to run for about 15 days of time. And in this, you will be understanding the basics of database, what is a server, and why it is needed for us as a data analyst. Okay, so to make you understand more about this, let me take you through this. Currently, as most of you may be working with Excel or Power BI or Tableau or something. Okay, so Excel, let me ask you a very simple question here. If you want to create a report in Excel, what is that you need? If you want to create a report in Excel, what is that you need? Data we need, excellent. If we need data, usually in smaller organizations, what they do is that they store the data in simple Excel files or CSV files or text pads. But when it comes to a bigger business, they cannot store the data in an Excel file because Excel has the data limitation, right? It can only store up to 1 million rows. What if the business is already dealing with 200 million rows? Right, so that is not possible for the company to store all the data in Excel files. What is that they need? They need a database to store these high volumes of data. There are different databases available in the market. There could be SQL Server database, Oracle database, MySQL database, DB2, Teradata, SAP HANA, whatnot. There are so many databases available. All these databases' job is to save the data. That is what the database's job is, right? Save You can also manage the data and you can also secure the data, and different kind of security roles can be created. But the primary role of a database is to store the data. Done. So the data is there in some SQL database in a big company, and now you want to create a report using Excel. I assume all of you are familiar with Excel, right? Okay, so you want to create a report, and
I have small doubt, yes.
yes, please.
So, so can we assume that the VBA and the SQL are simultaneously run in the same parallel of line? So they give the same knowledge?
No, VBA is for automations. SQL is for data extraction.
Data
Let's say,
extraction.
correct. Because if you want to create a report, what is that we need?
Well, come again? I didn't get you.
If you want to create a report in Excel, what is that we need?
Obviously, we do works on the worksheets.
Hmm.
Okay. And apart from that, there is nothing more to expect, I guess.
Okay, you want to create a report. What is
Okay.
the very first thing that you need in Excel?
We need a data firstly.
Correct. We need the data.
Yeah.
If the data is there in some database,
Okay.
you need to interact with the database and get the data, right?
Okay. It's just like an hyperlink. So even the hyperlink way what we use in the Excel, even it extract the data from particular files, isn't it?
No,
So to
hyperlinks
SQL
cannot
database,
hyperlinks
yeah.
cannot extract the data, but they can take you to that data.
Okay.
Yes or no? If you create a hyperlink in
Okay.
Excel for other file,
Yes.
you click on that hyperlink. Will that import the data from other file into Excel, or will it open that other file? It will open the other files. So you cannot use the word extracting data using hyperlink, because hyperlinking, it can only navigate to a particular file. It cannot fetch the data from that file.
Oh.
Yeah. So coming to
Yeah.
SQL, as what is SQL? I mean, what is a database? I said, what is the primary job of a database? Store the data. If you have a lot of data and you want some part of the data to analyze it, you need to get the data into Excel. Correct? Right. So you need to talk to the database and ask the database, okay, give me the last 6 months data for my analysis. So can you ask that question in English? All right, if there is a database, SQL Server database, in my system, there is a SQL Server database. Can I ask the system, hey, please give me the last 6 months data? No, right, I'll have to use a command to extract it. Of course, if there is a voice enabled, SQL mechanism available, then you can ask the question and it will automatically write, and going forward, it is possible also, right? You just ask a simple question and it will convert that simple question into a SQL command, and it will trigger and it will give you the data. That is different level, okay? But at this point, what is that we need to do? We need to write a SQL query, and then it goes to the server, and the server will help us to extract the last 6 months sales data, and it gets that data into Excel. Let me show you a small demonstration first, how I can get the data from SQL to Excel, and then I'll explain what is VBA. Someone asked, like, what is VBA? Are they, same, or can it help learning SQL and VBA, both of them same, or are they different at all, right? So let's see. What I want to do is I have one SQL Server in my system, so I can use Excel as a client application, and a SQL Server database is there in my computer. So I'll also show you how you can install SQL Server, right? So let us write this KK. The name that I'm using here is my server name. Once you install your server in your computer, you will have a different name there, okay? EMP is a database. I want to write a very simple SQL query here, select star from employee, okay? So this is a SQL command. What is that I wrote and all? No need to worry. I'll explain that, but understand that it's a SQL query, and I'm going to connect to my server KK laptop that has a database in it, which is EMP. And when I say, please extract the data, what it does is it shows me all the data. right? It looks good, and I'll just load the data to the existing sheet A1 cell, load it. Yes, I got the data. So what is SQL? SQL helps us to extract the data from the database and get that data into your reporting tool, right? But from here, if I want to do, kind of an automation, this data is now there in Excel, right? Now, here's the point. I have 1, 2, 3 departments, 10, 20, 30 department IDs, okay? These are the department IDs. There are department heads. What I need to do is, I need to select only department 10 employees, create a new file, copy, create a new file, paste the data, right? And send this department 10 data, employees data, to department 10 head via email. Okay, using an email, Outlook email, I need to send this file and then close the file after sending it. Similarly, I need to do it for 20 department and 30 department also. That means whatever the data I get, and then it should automatically trigger 3 different emails to 3 different department heads, right? That automation can be done using VBA, right? So I think that makes now sense. Someone asked me this question, like, what is VBA, what is SQL, right? So what is SQL here? SQL is there to extract the data. What is VBA? After extracting the data, once you have all the data, you may want to do little transformations on the data and then filter the data, copy the data, create a table, create a chart, and then take a screenshot of it and then attach it to the email, and you want to send it to your manager. Then that is the job of VBA, right? VBA is for automations, SQL is for data extractions. Go on.
And one more doubt. So
Yeah.
if we are extracting data from a web page,
Hmm.
so web page is already authorized with the certain servers. So, but when we are trying to work on an Excel sheet and we are trying to extract the data from the web page, so which is not our own server. So can we assume that the SQL base is doing that work?
Okay, here we go. On web pages, something is available. Let me show you this then. Okay, this table is available on the web page, right? And this data may be coming from using some source in the backend, right? It may be a SQL table also. I can embed that SQL table here. But yes, if I can see it, does it require any additional authentication to read this? Any username, password is needed to view this? No, right? If you just have the link, you can directly read it, right? The same thing, if I want to get the data from the web page into Excel or Power BI also for that matter, okay? Just go here, go, you want to pick up the data from, just hold on. Online. Yeah, other sources from the web page. So whatever the tables that you see, anonymous, I don't need any special permissions to log into this web page. Usually it doesn't take this much time, but let's see. So what I'm trying to tell you is that you don't require any special permissions like, user ID or password or something, unless it is really needed. Okay, a few of the web pages, if you want to access them in your organization level and all, they ask you for your credentials to log in first. So yeah, if that is the case, then you need to pass your user ID password there. But in this case, it is something available for all the people who have internet access. They can directly read the table, and I can get the table into Excel. It doesn't require any additional authentication. Is that clear? Yeah, is that fine?
Yes.
Right then. So we are using Excel or Power BI as a client application, and we want to get some data. Then what is it we need? We need a language to talk to it, and then we get the data from the databases. There could be any kind of a database, and we get the data into our reporting layer so that we can create the reports. That is what SQL is for. Okay. So if you have SQL knowledge, then understanding data modeling, primary keys and foreign keys in the reporting tools, it's going to be easy. Okay, Power BI, ClickView, ClickSense, Tableau, all of them, they work with the same kind of rules, okay, in the data modeling. Right. So can I assume all of you are good with Excel? Yes? Right. Online participants, all of you are good with Excel, right? In terms of writing up, formulas like lookup formulas or SUMF, COUNTF, right?
Yes.
Okay. Perfect then. So it should be fine then to proceed to SQL, but without Excel knowledge, if you choose SQL directly, you may struggle a bit because the tables and all may be looking a little new for you. Okay. But if you have some fair understanding about Excel formulas, pivoting dashboards and all, then it should be fine. Right. So I hope now you understood. Yeah.
And sorry to disturb and a small doubt. So
Yeah.
can SQL be helpful for administration works rather than data analyst? So is it helpful to do as an administration?
Administration in terms of?
I don't know what to ask, but so see, we use Excel both as a technical purpose as well as an administration purpose, isn't it? So even the same, the SQL is also meant to be to do same as Excel, or it is particularly mentioned for only for doing the database works like data analytics works.
When you say administration, is it, what is that you want to administer? Is it like you are talking about the decision-making thing or?
Yes. Is it okay? The SQL is it can be used as a PowerPoint presentations, or else
No.
it is only meant for to do data validation works.
Okay, here we go. What is the primary job of any database?
To summarize the database.
What is the primary job of any database?
To extract the data.
No. What is the primary job of any database?
Okay, to
To
hold
store
the
the
data.
data.
To store the data. Perfect. Databases are there to store the data. On top of that,
Yes.
you may want to include the security and you may want to include so many other things. That's a different story. But the primary job of a database is to store the data. What is the primary job of the query language we are going to learn? Is to extract the data, right? Of course, the same query language can create the tables, can manage the security, can manage the different access levels. You can grant permission. So many other things can be done using this query language, SQL. But what is the purpose we are learning this SQL? It is to extract the data from the database. A database is there with some data. As an end user, I want some data from it. So I write one SQL query and I extract the data from the database. So primary job of SQL in this particular class, but of course SQL can do so many other things. The job of SQL, or whatever the language that we are going to learn, is to extract the data. What is the
So
purpose?
whatever the data might be, whatever the data might be.
Correct. It could be any kind of data. It could be financial data, you may
So
extract HR data.
yeah, in Excel we have different versions like XLX and .xlxs, like
Right.
binary version.
Correct.
So if you want to extract the data from a binary version, even it can be done from the SQL database. We're using SQL query language.
Okay. So it can extract the data as in the form of a data set. You can call it as a result set or data set. Once that comes from SQL, you can save that file. Okay, we are not going to work with a file environment. We are going to work with a
Okay.
server and a client where the data transmission will happen. And coming to the file, Excel is like a file. It's not a database application, right?
Okay.
Once you extract the data as a result set or a data set in SQL, you can copy paste the data into Excel and you can save that as a file, separate file. Or you
Oh,
directly write a SQL query, directly get the data into Excel. I showed you, right? Already in Excel also we have an option to connect to database and write one SQL query and save the file with XLSX, XLSB, whatever the format that you want to save it. We are not going to get a file output from, in SQL. When you write, you get the result set or a data set, and that can be connected to any application, and that application can be saved. Let's say if the SQL output is saved in Excel, then Excel file can be saved with XLSX, XLSM, XLSB, or XLS, any extension you can save, or CSV you can save. But SQL job here is a query language. We write the query language, we get the data, and to get the data, we use a client application called SSMS. Okay, I'll explain this in our sessions. At this point, I'm only showing you the environment, how it looks. Actually, SSMS is the one we use to write the query. And once we get the data output, we see it. If everything is good, then we use the data for our further reporting needs. SQL is not a reporting application. Okay, whatever the SQL databases that we use, they are not meant for reporting. Of course, the reporting capabilities are there, but not that great. What is the primary job of a database? Store the data. What is the primary job of an Excel or Power BI kind of an application? To report the data. What is it we do in Excel? Once we have a lot of data in Excel, what is it we do? We create the pivots, we create the charts, we create the dashboards, and what is it we do? We report the data so that business can take a look at it and can take decisions. Similarly, Power BI does the same thing. So databases are there to store the data. Excel, Power BI, Tableau, ClickView, ClickSense, these kind of tools are the data visualization or analytical tools. They help us to report the data. Is that clear?
yes.
Perfect. So let me just take you through. What is it you're going to learn in SQL? Of course, as I said, it is not a complete database developer program. However, we'll train you on those basics, okay? Whosoever is a database developer also, they also need to learn these things, but we spend very little time. We understand what is database, what is RDBMS, what is SQL Server. We use SQL Server 2022 here. Of course, the course content is showing 2017. We use 2022 Developer Edition, how to install servers, how to install the client, which is SSMS, SQL Server Management Studio. Right, then how to connect, what kind of connection or the authentication modes are available, and to understand the SSMS user interface. And then we try to understand what is a database and how that can be created, deleted, can be backed up, restoring the databases and all. So this is also very important for us. We just try to understand, but we really don't spend much time in developing the databases. No, that's not our job. Even if you get into a role, you get the access to the databases as read-only. You cannot get read and write. We cannot create new objects. Why? Because as a data analyst, our responsibility is limited to just extract the data and create the reports. We do not develop new reports. I mean, new objects. We do not develop new objects, or we do not create new objects in the databases. We get read-only access, okay? And then as part of this training, we'll learn TSQL. You get a question here, you just said SQL, SQL, SQL everywhere, but why are you using this TSQL, Transact SQL? There are different variants of SQL available. Depends on the kind of databases and the servers you use. So if you are working with Microsoft SQL Server, it understands TSQL. If you are using MySQL server, there is another server available, MySQL server. You need to use MySQL. Okay, there are other variants also like ANSI SQL, Oracle SQL, different variants. But the good thing with all these SQLs is all of them, they look very much similar. Either you learn TSQL or MySQL or Oracle or any other variant of SQL, all these SQLs, they look very much same. Okay. I can tell you my own example. When I learned SQL, I learned Oracle SQL. When I've started working with my client, I've started working with MySQL. I'm delivering the sessions on TSQL. So what I'm trying to tell you is that you learn any variant of SQL, it looks very much same. 95% of the commands, they remain same. 5% here and there. A few examples would be in TSQL, we call something called identity. The keyword is identity. Okay. In Oracle, we call it as auto increment. It's the same thing. Both of them are designed to do the same thing. But in my TSQL, we call it identity. In Oracle, you call auto increment, something like that. Okay. Slight difference.
So these are all are used to study the client's applications. Like you have said before, SSMS. So these are the client applications. So these different SQLs are meant to read these different client applications.
Okay, we have the different client applications also. In this training program, as we are using Microsoft SQL Server, we are using SSMS as a client. SQL Server is a server application. The client application is SQL Server Management Studio. So two things together, okay? We need to understand both of them. And when it comes to MySQL server application is there. And the client application for MySQL is MySQL Workbench. The name of the client is MySQL Workbench. In Microsoft SQL Server, we call it SSMS, SQL Server Management Studio as a client. In MySQL Server, we call the client application as MySQL Workbench. Similarly, if you are using Oracle servers, there is a client application Todd, right? Different client applications are there. And these client applications, they accept the different variants of SQL to talk to the server. Okay, but these variants, they sound very much similar. Okay, a few keywords or commands may be little different, but concept-wise, they are same. Okay, is that fine?
Yes.
Okay, so we start with the commands DDL, DML, DQL, DCL, TCL. But our job is to spend more time on DQL, data querying language. Okay, so we also understand how to create a table, how to set up the constraints, primary key, foreign key, and the other constraints like unique, not null, default, check, the different types of constraints. But the most of the time we spend on DQL. But before moving on to the DQL, we try to understand the data types in TSQL, DML, data manipulation language, insert, update, delete, truncate, how to perform them, and then DQL. Yeah, here we spend a good amount of time understanding the select queries, where clauses, group by, having, right? Different kind of things, using aggregate functions, using string functions, mathematical functions, doing the joins between the tables, what type of joins available, cross join, inner join, outer join, self join, set operators like union, all, intersect, except, subqueries, multi-row subquery, single row subquery, nested subquery. Right? Views, what is the purpose of a view? A view is a virtual table. So many topics are there related to the DQL only. Okay, and we also talk about security and transaction management, just to get some idea, but we do not perform in our real time any security related or any transaction management related tasks. Why? Because as a data analyst, as I mentioned multiple number of times, our job is to extract the data, create the reports and powerful dashboards to help the business to make the decisions. We don't set up the security roles and all, but I'll show you how this can be done. Okay.
And the SQL is it's an old application, isn't it? So according to my knowledge, so it was introduced in 80s, I guess. So is it applicable for any operating system?
Come again, is it?
I didn't get it. What you're asking something?
Yes, you
No,
said any operating system you said, right? What is that? Any operating system you said?
like Windows, for example. And
Hmm,
in Windows, we have different versions.
correct.
So the SQL is applicable for any version. So we can work with any version of operating system.
Yes, yes, that is
Okay.
possible. And when you install this SQL Server and SSMS, they have the system specifications. Depends on the version. Let's say if you want to go with SQL Server 2022, it has a system specifications that you should at least have a Windows 10 operating system or Windows 8.1, something like that, system specifications you see. Language is same, but the kind of application that you install depends on your operating system, okay? It should be compatible with your operating system. I hope all of you have at least Windows 10 or Windows 8.1, should be okay, right? Windows 11 is there, then it's great. But yeah, at least if you have Windows 8.1 or 10, should also be okay.
Darts and SQL.
DAX,
Darts.
spell it,
DARTS. DARTS.
full form.
Darts and SQL is the same word.
No, DARTS, is it,
If we open MySQL server,
hmm,
first it shows my darts.
that may be for something else. SQL Server is, I've no idea about what is that you are asking about, but the thing is, SQL Server is from Microsoft company and MySQL is from a different organization again. So both of them.
So can you repeat it again once?
No, MySQL and Microsoft SQL Server, if you are looking at, SQL Server is from Microsoft and MySQL Server is from MySQL. Both are two different types of servers, but are they meant to do something similar? Yes. Both of them are RDBMS, the Relational Database Management Systems, and both of them are there to manage the databases. Okay, these are the database servers. Okay. Okay. So this is SQL for data analytics and reporting. And as I said, right from what is database, and we go up to writing complex queries using the joins and aggregate functions and different clauses, subqueries, views, right? We do all these things, and this is very much enough for a reporting analyst. But we also include stored procedures, how to create, window functions, how to use, and as well as CTEs, common table expressions. These are the additional 3 topics I take up. I take during the session. So not asked in every interview, but good to know those things as well, right? Stored procedures, window functions, and CTEs, common table expressions. Okay. So that is what we are going to learn as part of SQL. So once you are good with SQL, working with Power BI looks a bit more easier. Let me take you through that. Okay, so in Power BI, there is something called data modeling. Okay, there we once again work with the keys to build the relationships. In SQL, we do the joins to get the data. If you have 2 tables, if you want to get the data into a single place, you do the joins. So let me show you what is a join, then you will understand what is a relationship in Power BI. Right, let me show you one simple query here. I have a database, EMP. So today you no need to worry like what is it I'm trying to write here, but just try to understand the concept, okay? I have select star from employee table. See this table, okay? And I also have one more table, select star from DEPT table. Let me execute both of them so that you will see both the results, okay? The above one is employee table, the below one is department table. Do you see any common key between them? The common key. Which one is it? Department ID. Excellent. So the department ID is a common key. If I want to find out employee name and their department name, understand? Employee name and their department name. In Excel, what is it we do? We look up. Excellent. So what is it we do? We'll take a new column here equal to look up for this department ID within this table and get me the second column, right? In Excel, we do VLOOKUP. In SQL, we do joins. Join. How do we do that? Let me show you. Select what all columns you need. E name, D name from employee as E. Join DEPT as D. Common key is E dot DEPT ID is equal to D dot DEPT ID. So when you write something like this, it works as good as your VLOOKUP. You see that? So in Excel, whatever the lookups you did using the lookup formulas, the same thing you can perform in SQL using a join. See, now you can easily relate to the subject. If you are good with Excel and Excel formulas, now the same thing when I try to do it in SQL, you can easily relate to that, okay? So in SQL, what is that thing if you want to fetch the data from multiple tables? Joins we use. The same joins in Power BI, we do relationships. There we no need to write any query. We simply create a line between both the tables so that from one table to the other table, the data. Correct, like MS Access only. Okay, we create the relationships, okay, between the tables using the keys only. Okay, so what are those primary keys and foreign keys? When we get into the subject, I'll discuss more in detail. But understand that whatever the things that you are learning here in SQL are going to help you while building the data models in Power BI. Okay. So the very first thing in Power BI, we try to understand what is business intelligence, why it is needed for the business, okay? How to install Power BI desktop, right? And how to create Power BI service account also will cover, okay? So Power BI service helps us to publish the reports. Let me show you. Once you publish the reports, you can view the reports using any browser. Done. Whatever the reports that we publish, they will be available online and directly you can open them. You can apply the slicers. Okay. This is one of the projects we do. I want to show the line chart or I want to show the map chart, right? What if my sales are increased by, let's say 50%, how my values look, right? Only in the consumer, how it looks, right? During 2018, how is it? Okay, you can do all these different things. But once you publish the report, but to publish the report, you need to have Power BI service account. So we'll show you both how to install Power BI desktop and how to create Power BI service so that you can publish the reports. So the very first thing, we get the data and transform the data with Power Query. You would have heard about Power Query. Okay, Power Query is for the data transformations. Okay, so we do a lot of ETL activity using Power Query: extract, transform, load. I'll explain in the SQL session also what is extract, transform, load. And we can get the data from Excel file, CSV, PDF, SQL, website, whatnot. You name any source, it is there. Okay, you
So
can
for
read
being
the
any data analyst, so it's a basic step to extract, transfer, and load.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, why? Because the data may not be in the right shape. When you extract it, the data may be there in some other shape. So you need to transform it into the required shape and then load the two values or load the data into our reporting tool. Okay. So that's why the very first step, what we do is transform data in Power Query. Okay. After getting the data. So the data can come from different places. It could be from Excel file, text file, CSV, PDF, SQL database, Oracle database, DB2, Google BigQuery, ESS base, or whatnot, you name anything, it is there. Just in case if a direct connector is not available, there is something called ODBC, Open Database, connectivity, ODBC. You can create ODBC connection and you can still load the data, even though the direct connector, if it is not available. Okay, we'll see that as well. Most of the things like in offices, whatever we use, they have the direct connectors available. They use either a SQL Server or Oracle or MySQL and all. So everything is like an inbuilt one only. You can directly read the data from there. Okay. And once we get the data, there are so many different types of transformations we'll have to perform. Filtering the rows, splitting the columns, deleting the rows, deleting the columns, or creating custom columns, conditional columns, and so many things. We'll discuss that. In the data modeling, we talk about, what is data modeling, how to build the relationships, what is filter direction, what is active relationship, inactive relationship, sorting, building, hierarchies, hiding the columns or hiding the tables. So many things are there in the data modeling also. And then we'll move on to the Power BI visualization. So there we talk about how to build the visuals. There are different types of charts available. If you observe here, you see them? Good number of charts. And if you want to get additional charts, you can say get more visuals, and you can download custom visuals also. You see so many visuals, right? But we recommend you to download only Power BI certified visuals. Okay, with other type of visuals where you do not see the tick mark, we are facing little issues while exporting that visual. Okay, that's the reason we don't recommend that. So you can work with different types of visuals, and in which I'll talk about this thing, where you will understand which type of visual to be used when, right? What is that you want to do? Do you want to do a comparison, composition, distribution, or relationship? So depending on the requirement, we choose different types of visuals. Okay. And you will get this material anyways. You can go through all that. Okay. And then slicing and dicing with the help of filters and slicers, the different types of filters that are available. Slicers, you have some idea about a slicer in Excel also, right?
Yes.
What is it? What does it do, slicer in Excel?
Add a filter by
When you have
Filter.
a table, you can apply a filter using the slicer, right? Yes, the same slicer is available. Parameters are available, right? We can also drill down, roll up. When you create a hierarchy in the visuals, we'll see that. And very, very important thing, DAX, data analysis expressions. So there are different types of DAX functions you can create, right? Text functions, logical functions, mathematical, statistical functions, filter functions. And one of those very, very important functions is calculate function. Try to understand what is calculate. Okay. So very powerful. We do so many things with calculate. And along with calculate, there is another group of functions called time intelligence functions. Last year calculations, year over year calculations, 2 months ago what happened, now currently what's happening, right? Last quarter, this quarter comparisons. These kind of time intelligence functions can be easily done using DAX, full form data analysis expressions. Okay, and finally, once we are done with all of them, we publish the reports to share them. Why? Because usually in the traditional reporting, what happens, once you create any kind of a report, okay, let's say you created a report using this in Excel. What is it you do if you want to share it with your manager? Let's say you created a report. Let me just get rid of this record. I'll just insert a pivot table, and this shows, something like country, the population in 2023, something like this. Okay, and you created, because I'm just showing you a simple example here, like a chart and all. You created. Now you need to share it with your manager. How do you do that? You save this report. Either you send it via email, attach it to the email, send it, or you save it in a shared drive and you send the path to your manager saying that the updated report is located in so and so path and please go and open. That's how we share it. This is what the traditional reporting, right? The way we share. But in Power BI, you don't need to share that way. Once you are done with the report creation, there is something called publish. Once you publish, that will be published onto Power BI service, which is your Power BI cloud version, right? And that will be available here. Directly your manager using this link, that person can open from any location. The only thing is that you need to grant permissions to your manager to view this report. While viewing this report, I would like to show you something interesting here. Let me just open that sales report again. It's a sales report available in the folder B00617, right? In B00617 folder, there is a sales performance report, and this is how the sales report looks, right? With all the values and all, right? Let me just clear off all the slices, and this is how the total profits, this much, total sales is this much, and profit percentage is this much. Everything is like visible, right? Let me do one thing. I'll go to Edge browser, and there, let me just log in as some other manager. Okay, so currently I logged in as an admin. What if Pradeep is a manager in our company? When Pradeep logs in to the same report, that 617 folder, and then sales performance report. Now you take a look at it. Pradeep sees different data there. It's the same report, same sales performance report. Okay, so let me just go to Chrome. In Chrome, I logged in as an admin. In Edge, I logged in as Pradeep, one of the managers, right? And if you observe here, Pradeep can see only these three states. You know why Pradeep can see only these three states? Because Pradeep is East manager. As an admin, you can see all the regions. If you assign a role to Pradeep as East manager, though the report is same, the data visibility will be filtered. Okay, so this is what we will learn as part of RLS, the role level security, after creating the roles. So we'll also talk about this technique, how to create static RLS, how to create dynamic RLS. Okay, so that though the report is same, depending on the user who is logging in, their respective data will only be visible, right? Let's say in the traditional reporting, what we used to do, let's say only Asian countries population should be seen by the Asian head. European data should be shown to only European head. Then what we need to do? We need to create different versions of this report. In Excel, we need to delete the other data. Why? Because if other data is confidential and other regions heads should not be able to see, some other regions data, then what is it we need to do? We need to delete the data and create as a new version, like East report or Asian report, Europe report, US report, and all. We create multiple versions of the report and attach to the email and send it to the multiple managers. But here you no need to do that. You just create only one report and set up a rule, and basis on the login, it will filter the data. Right? This is another interesting thing, and that techniques also we learn. So we build the dashboards for the web layout or mobile layout. On the mobile also, you can view that, right? You just need to download Power BI for mobile, and you can open all these reports, right? So it covers right from what is BI, business intelligence, and the basics of Power BI till how to publish the reports onto the Power BI service, which is a cloud version, and how to, create the dashboards and apps. We also cover one more topic called apps, how to create Power BI, reports, apps, right? And one more topic is there, refreshing the data sets. Something like, let's say today you created a report. Tomorrow you need to create a similar kind of a report, but the data changes. Every day your server gets updated with the data. I mean, your database gets updated with the data. And whatever the updated data is there, you need to extract it, get the data into Excel, and then create a report and send it. Okay, send to 5 different managers with their respective data. Right? If you are good with automation with VBA or any other Power Automate kind of a tool, then you can automate this process. Like every day, go get the data, dump that data into Excel, create multiple reports, and then what is we call, and then split the data into multiple reports, and then attach those files and send it to the managers. Right? That's what we do. Using Power Automate or macros, you can automate the task. But what if you need to do it manually? Every day you need to do this, right? But in Power BI, you don't need to do that. As anyways, the data visibility is controlled by RLS, row level security. Only one thing is that you need to automatically refresh the data set. For this purpose, we have something called Power BI data gateways. I'll show you how you can set up your personal gateway so that you no need to do anything. You create the report, you set up the RLS, row level security, and you share the report with all the managers. When they log in, they see only their data. And tomorrow, when the data gets updated, you no need to manually refresh. You can schedule a job every day, 8 o'clock, this report needs to be refreshed. When you schedule a job, your data gateway only will go to the source, will refresh the data, will populate all the updated numbers. You see how dynamic, how automated it is, right? So we also show you how you can set up your Power BI data gateways. Okay. Right. Finally,
even-
yes, please.
Yeah, when we are limiting limiting people who work on particular data, like you are saying, when you are sending the particular worksheets, or else when you are summarizing particular data with limited people with some emails, or else who where you are trying to send this work to with emails. So okay, fine. I lost my question. Again, I'll ask you again. Okay. Continue, please. Sorry.
Sure. Okay. So it covers right from the fundamentals of what is business intelligence and how to publish and manage the reports on Power BI service. Everything is there, right? In Power BI service also, there are so many concepts, something like setting up the subscriptions, alerts, right? Getting the failure notifications, right? Just in case if the report is failed, then you get a notification email, right? So that you can fix that issue and you can re-trigger the job, right? So this is how we can fully automate our tasks using Power BI, right? You can, yeah, you will learn so many things in this, of course, because it's just like the course outline, not each and every point is mentioned here, but yes, when we go in detail, there are so many things inside, okay? So ultimately, you will learn in and out of Power BI, and as I mentioned already, while the session's going on, I'll also let you know if there is an important topic in terms of the PL300 certification, Microsoft Power BI certification. If you are interested, you can go for certification also after this course, right? So I'll cover all those required topics that are needed, okay? Coming to the certification, it's about 1,000 marks. I mean, it is for 1,000 marks. 700 is the cutoff. 70% is what we need to get. It's an online examination for 100 minutes. You get around 53, 54 questions with projects and case studies. And the challenge with this is it's not a project, what do we say? It's not, yeah, simply it doesn't give you any Power BI environment in exam, okay? It only shows like the question and the options, like multiple choice questions are there, drag and drop questions are there, yes or no kind of questions are there, so many different things, but you don't get, Power BI interface there. Like we get in Excel examination and all, we get Excel application, and there we need to perform the tasks. But here you need to read, understand the question, and you need to answer this. But answering a question with multiple choice, right? Options, right? It's not that easy. Because if the application is there right in front of you, then you can easily understand, okay, this is a question and this is what you need to do. But if application is not there, and you need to understand the question and you need to remember the each and everything in the interface of application, and what is the first thing I need to do, what is the second thing I need to do, you need to remember all that process. That is where PL300, clearing PL300 is little challenging, right? Most of the people, I can bet on this, they attempt, but they fail PL300 because lack of guidance is one. They don't know how the themes of the questions they come, right? But we trained a good number of students on Power BI. We all like PL300 certified, right? We know exactly the theme of the questions, right? What they are looking for in each and every, question. So probably you may want to check whosoever is offering Power BI training and all. Just check are they really PL300 certified or not. Clearing that is not that easy unless you spend a lot of time with the tool. But yes, in this training program, as I said, if something is really important, I'll stress it enough so that you will remember, right? And so you can easily clear PL300 certification also, right? And coming to the job opportunities, probably you would have done this research. Our BI jobs, let's do in only Hyderabad, okay? Let's see. Let's take so many things are there. Just Hitachi. Reporting BI analyst. Power BI is must, right? You see that? What is that they mentioned? But what is that they are expecting here? If you have Python, preferred but not mandated. Python, yeah, these days companies started asking for Python also, right? See, expert knowledge of data modeling, data visualization tools and Excel. You see that? See, this is the reason we always say you cannot go away from Excel, okay? As technologies, Power BI job. Job is Power BI. OLTP, OLAP, right? Role may be showing Power BI. Do we have the package information by any chance? So many things are there. Cognizant, some Power BI role. DAX is needed anyways, we'll cover that. Okay. You see this? SQL Server. SSRS they are looking for, which is the component of MSBI, Microsoft Business Intelligence. But yes, someone who got some idea about SQL can answer a few questions, right? In SSRS as well. Tata Consultancy. Role is asking for. They are also looking for Azure, at least the understanding, right? Azure Data Lake and Azure Synapses. This is a new one from Microsoft. So you take anything, let's say Accenture. They did not mention much.
So what is the difference between Power BI developer and Power BI analyst?
Okay.
Like we, for SQL database developer job is different and reporting, SQL reporting job is different. So like that, in Power BI, is there any differences?
See, I'll tell you one thing, the designations, be it Power BI developer or Power BI analyst or data analyst using Power BI, are more or less like same. The responsibilities, they remain same. Depending on the company, they give different roles. Few of the companies, they give, I know these, few examples. They give a designation of business analyst, but the work is to work in, Excel. Sit with the business, understand their requirement, create the reporting templates and all. They gave a name, the title as business analyst. You can't say that until or unless you look into the roles and responsibilities. You cannot simply go with the designation. Depends. Few of them they call Power BI developer. Few of the businesses they call, Power BI analyst. Right. But it depends on the roles and responsibilities, what they are expecting. Right. No one wants any employee to be like an end user of Power BI. End user Power BI, what is it they do? Simply select those slicers and see the values, that's it. Right? So yeah, that anyone can do. In hardly half an hour, you can learn that skill. Applying the slicers and seeing the right data. Right? But business analysts, they do that. Like sometimes, as an end user, but they need to, their job is not to work with Power BI a lot, but after selecting those filters and all, looking at the patterns and all, what's likely to happen in the next 6 months? That is what they need to come up with. Right? So they work as end users. Yeah, different roles. Yeah, Tiger Analytics is another one. Though it says, Power BI mostly, but, internally, you see that comprehensive knowledge of SQL is needed, right? Can directly go to Power BI, but only one thing is that when you attempt any interview, they ask you for SQL also. Because using Power BI, you interact with different servers, right? Your data may not be there always in Excel. It may be there in some databases. So definitely you need to learn the skill of interacting with the servers and get the required amount of data, right? So different roles, different designations, but the tools are same. Excel, SQL, Power BI, right? Packages also usually good only. I mean, none of them have actually mentioned the package range. I'm like searching for them. But yeah, you can search it online in any place if you see the package. Usually that's like really, really nice these days for the data analysts and Power BI developers.
What is the average package for freshers or an experienced?
Freshers, again, it ranges between a 3 to 4 lakh if you join as a fresher Power BI developer. Okay, I'm talking about a very, very minimum range. I cannot talk about someone who got 8 lakh as a fresher, someone who got with 1 year experience, someone got 17 lakh also. It depends, right? So I cannot talk about all those best examples, but on an average, 3 to 4. That is a realistic number. Any company can keep the budget of 3 to 4, but there are cases like 5 lakhs, someone got 6 lakhs. It depends as a fresher, right? But you cannot go with always the best cases. You need to take only the minimum is recommended, because you can't say, every company can keep the same level of budget, right? So that's why.
We have 3 to 4 years of experience in MIS on data analysis.
Mm.
So after learning this SQL and Power BI perfectly, so what we can expect?
3 to 4 years. Let me talk again the minimum package range only, 7 to 8 lakh. Minimum range, right? One of our students got 5 years experience, got 14 lakh recently, 2 months ago, right? It depends the kind of company you are getting into. Let's say you are getting into a mid-scale or a small-scale company, but they require Power BI. Let's assume their budgets are less. Same skill, big company, they may offer you double the salary, right? It depends on which company, for which company you are attending, right? Which role it is, right? And how you perform those. Let's say if they really trust, like, okay, this person is the right fit and we can offer this person because showed excellent skills during the interview, they may be ready to offer. Sometimes though they have the budget, but our skill is like, okay, meeting their requirements. Then they bring down the budget to try to negotiate with us. Okay, you are getting only 6 lakhs, right? So we can offer you only 7.5. Would you be interested to join? Though the budget is 10 lakh. You're getting it. So it depends on the skill also. Yep. So overall, as I said, 45 calendar days, Monday to Friday, right? We'll run, and just in case if really needed, sometimes we take on Saturdays also, but we'll let you know well in advance if there is such change. But usually we don't do that. But if it is really needed, we do that. And yeah, any major holiday is there, it's going to be a holiday. But unless we don't, yeah, we don't give any what is that? Other holidays, like major holidays, we give them holidays. If there is any change in the schedule and all, it will be posted well in advance in the group. Okay, at least a good 1 day in advance if there is any change by any chance because of the schedule conflicts and all. Okay, video recordings will be available online. You can get access as soon as the session is over. After a couple of hours, it will be loaded and you can access. Please make sure you share your Gmail address with the front office team so that you can get the access to these videos as well. Material package, whatever I was showing you on my screen, the same material package will come to you so that you can parallelly practice as well every day. Keep some time every day for about 1.5 hours to practice the topics. Okay, fine.
And
yes, please.
yes, so how to install this server?
Yes, server installation. client installation and all. Tomorrow session I'll cover that. Okay, so
So
absolutely
we,
no
we are
need to
just
worry.
had we just had an overview of SQL database.
Correct.
Okay, thank
Yes,
you.
it's more like the demo, what is that you are going to learn and what you can expect from this course, right? Tomorrow we'll show you how you can install server and start working. There is little bit of setup to be done.
Is there any page for developing the queries in for Power BI visualization? So we need to get data from Excel or SQL, some other tools also.
Correct.
So same likewise, we need to write the queries also. Is there any page for development?
Okay, so in Power BI, you're asking, is there any place where I can write the queries directly in Power BI?
Yes.
Yeah, yes. When you choose an SQL server or MySQL server or Oracle server, you see that SQL statement. You can directly write that SQL command here itself, like the way we wrote it in Excel. In Power BI also, you can write it and you can trigger the query and then that's it. It will get you the data. Okay, but this is possible only with the servers. You cannot write a SQL command on Excel file. Let's say Excel is your source. You want to connect to the Excel file. You directly take the Excel as a source and you connect. But you cannot write any SQL query there. Why? Because Excel doesn't have any server kind of an environment. It's just a file, right? Yes, we can write the queries in Power BI also. Okay. All right then. So tomorrow it's catch up around 7:45. Okay. And then I'll show you how to install SQL Server and client. Yeah, online, any questions?
Yeah, like see if you have certain data with you
Right.
and I want to work with your data.
Hmm.
So you give access with the SQL server or else how it can be done? See, you are having a data. I need to work on your data. So how I need to extract with you? How I need to extract data from you? See, if you want, if at all you are trying to give me data, you can mail me the data.
Correct.
But so there will be a certain platform where I can extract it. So how I can extract data from you?
Okay, simple real-time requirement. The servers are there in US. The databases are there. I want to connect to the US server and read the data and create a report here in India in my company.
Okay.
Then if I want to connect to the server, I can have this as on my network, this particular server, right? And if I want it to be a little more secure, then I can go with a virtual private network, a VPN. Once I log into the VPN, I can have access to the server via internet. I can connect to the server, read the data from the database. That's what we do, right? But in this example, in our course, as we cannot have a dedicated server available for all of you to do that interactions, what we do, we share the database with you and we install the server in your computer only. So that the server is also there in your computer. It's not located in some other place, right?
Okay.
And directly you can interact with the server and you can read the data.
And when assume that I'm an outsourcing employee, so where I'm working for you. So do you provide me an access with the VPN where your entire data is stored?
Yes. Yes, that's how the companies, they set up their environment. If an outsourcing employee or a consultant is there, someone who should work with the company's data, then there will be a VPN setup, and after logging into the VPN, you can access their servers and all. But sometimes, companies also give you virtual machines, the VMs. These companies are these days they prefer giving a VM to you. The reason being, if it is a VM, you cannot have that company's data in your personal laptop because you will be using a different VM altogether, and all the data, whatever the activity that you do, that stays there in their machine.
Okay.
That is another thing.
Okay. Thanks for the knowledge.
Okay.
Okay, sir. I'll be joining in the tomorrow's class.
Sure, okay. Please get in touch with the front office for registration details and the material access and the video access for you. So I'll see you all
Yes,
tomorrow.
yeah, because I have already joined the advanced Excel
Okay.
and I have completed the course. And still I'm working on with Excel because the course went very fast because I have no knowledge with the technical courses. And the
Mm-hmm.
problem what I have faced in the Excel, yeah, she is teaching very well. But
Mm.
whenever madam is trying to explain any example,
Mm.
she's directly going to the evaluation of the example. But what I felt, if at all she mentioned the question on the in the interface, then it will be
Mm-hmm.
very helpful because I couldn't grasp her idea what she
Oh,
is
okay.
trying to do. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
even when you give examples in further classes, try to
Mm.
mention the question, please, because uh, it will be very helpful for me because I'm very slow with the technical courses and I have no idea.
Mm.
And same working as a lawyer in High Court. So
Okay.
simultaneously, I need to focus on these things also.
Right. Okay. So you mean to say a question should be there that should explain the entire context, and then you want the explanation. That's what you're saying.
Yes, yes, yes. Because yes, it will be because it will be straight mind. So, okay, so
Mm.
this is the knowledge what they're trying to give me. So it will be
Mm.
stored in that way. But when you
Right.
are
Okay.
explaining with the actual formula and with the real-time explanation,
Mm.
so I couldn't grasp your idea about the uh, subject knowledge.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. Anyways,
Yeah,
we have the presentations with explaining the scenarios there. So I think it should be okay here. Let's see how it goes.
yeah.
Yep.
Oh, okay, okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, everyone. Contact front office if you need any info. Thank you.